Have you ever felt like you don't quite belong? Like there's a part of your family's past that's been deliberately hidden from you? Our story begins with a young man, a student of antiquities, who decides to take a cheap bus ride through the dilapidated, shunned town of Innsmouth. He's heard whispers. Of course, rumors of a town bypassed by progress, avoided by travelers, and haunted by a dark history. But curiosity is a powerful force, and he wants to see this decaying port town for himself, just for a day. Little does he know, this single decision will unravel not only the terrifying secrets of Innsmouth, but the very fabric of his own identity. The moment he steps off the bus, a sense of dread settles over him. The air is thick with the smell of fish and decay. The buildings are crumbling, their paint peeling like sunburnt skin, and many windows are boarded up. But it's the people that are truly unsettling. The few townsfolk he sees have a peculiar look. Narrow heads, flat noses, and bulging, unblinking eyes. They move with a strange, shuffling gait, and their skin has a grayish, unhealthy. They stare at him with a mixture of hostility and something else, a chilling sort of recognition. It feels less like a town and more like a tomb that has forgotten to close. He tries to strike up conversations, but the locals are tight-lipped and unwelcoming. Most ignore him completely. The bus driver had warned him, but seeing it firsthand is another matter entirely. He finds his way to the Gilman House, the only operating hotel in town, a decrepit structure run by a disturbingly unpleasant clerk. The whole place reeks of fish and dampness. Despite the oppressive atmosphere, his historical curiosity drives him onward. He wants to know what happened here. Why is Innsmouth so reviled? The answer, he soon learns, is far more monstrous than he could ever have imagined. His only breakthrough comes when he finds Zadok Allen, the town's oldest and drunkest resident. For the price of a few bottles of cheap whiskey, Zadok's tongue is loosened, and a horrifying history pours out. He spins a tale that sounds like a madman's ravings. He speaks of a sea captain, Obed Marsh, who, a century ago, made a pact with strange creatures from the depths of the ocean. These beings, called the Deep Ones, offered the town endless catches of fish and bizarre gold jewelry in exchange for sacrifices, and later, for something even more sinister, the promise to interbreed, to mix their bloodlines. Zadok describes a violent takeover, where those who opposed the pact were eliminated. The mainstream churches were abandoned, and a new religion, the esoteric order of Dagon, took hold, worshipping the monstrous sea gods, Father Dagon and Mother Hydra. The strange, Innsmouth look, Zadok whispers, is the result of this unholy union. As generations passed, the human blood thinned, and the children of Innsmouth began to transform, eventually being drawn back to their ancestral home beneath the waves, to the Cyclopean city of Yahaneth. Our narrator listens, half disbelieving, half petrified. Is this the drunken fantasy of a broken old man, or the literal truth of a town damned by the sea? As night falls, the true horror begins. The bus out of town has conveniently broken down, and he's forced to spend the night in his grimy hotel room. The lock on his door is flimsy, and the sounds from the street grow more organized. More menacing, he hears whispers and guttural croaks, the sound of shuffling feet converging on the hotel. Peeking through the keyhole, he sees figures with that same fish-like appearance, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark. They know he's there. They know he's learned their secret. The hunt has begun. What follows is a desperate, heart-pounding escape through the darkened, labyrinthine streets. He bolts his door, piles furniture against it, and scrambles out a window, fleeing across rooftops and down shadowy alleys. The entire town seems to be alive, an army of grotesque amphibious beings closing in on him. The air is filled with inhuman croaking and the slap of webbed feet on cobblestone. He hides in overgrown lots and abandoned buildings, his heart hammering against his ribs, every shadow a potential threat. He can feel their presence, a collective, malevolent intelligence guiding the hunt. This isn't just a mob, it's a pack of predators, and he is the prey. His one-day trip has become a fight for his life against a nightmare made real. Somehow, through sheer luck and terror-fueled adrenaline, he makes it to the old railroad tracks on the edge of town and collapses in a thicket of weeds as the monstrous search party passes him by. Ilyes, feigning unconsciousness until morning. When the sun rises, he stumbles away from the cursed town, eventually flagging down a ride and making it back to civilization. He immediately reports his ordeal to the authorities. At first, they dismiss him as crazy, but his detailed descriptions of the strange gold jewelry in the town's conspiracy eventually lead to a secret government investigation. The story leaks out in whispers. A raid, a submarine firing torpedoes into the reef, arrests, and the quiet torching of half the town. Innsmouth, it seems, has been dealt with. But the story isn't over. For our narrator, the true horror is just beginning. Back in the safety of his normal life, he can't shake the feeling of dread. He finds himself haunted by nightmares of swimming in glorious, green-lit caverns alongside the deep ones. He feels a strange pull towards the ocean. Then, he starts to notice subtle changes in his own reflection. His eyes seem a little wider, a little more protuberant. His skin takes on a different texture. The Innsmouth look. He delves into his own family history, a history his mother had always been vague about. He discovers his grandmother was an Obed Marsh, from a branch of the family that left Innsmouth long ago. The blood of the deep ones runs through his veins. The horrifying truth dawns on him. He wasn't just a random visitor, he was called home. The stares of the townsfolk weren't just hostility, they were recognition of one of their own. His escape was not a victory, it was merely a delay of the inevitable. The transformation is accelerating, and the nightmares are becoming more beautiful, more inviting. He sees his grandmother, now a deep one herself, beckoning him from the depths. The fear he once felt is slowly being replaced by a sense of belonging, of ecstatic homecoming. He plans to break his cousin, who also carries the bloodline, out of an asylum, and together they will descend into the sea, to the magnificent city of Innsmouth, to live forever amidst the wonder and the terror of the deep. He has accepted his fate. The shadow over Innsmouth was never just about a town. It was a shadow that had been lurking within him all along. What a chilling journey into cosmic and hereditary horror. It is a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest monsters aren't those we find in forgotten towns, but the ones we carry in our own blood. Thank you so much for joining me on this dive into the depths of Lovecraft's imagination. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe for more tales of the strange and unsettling, and let me know in the comments what story you'd like me to explore next. Until next time, stay curious.